It's October 23rd, 1965, 2:17 a.m., deep in the Ia Drang Valley, Vietnam. The air hangs thick with humidity and the stink of rotting leaves. Sergeant Jack Harlan crouches behind a fallen log, his M16 rifle long gone, ripped away in the mudslide of an ambush 2 hours earlier. He's got nothing but a knife in his boot and the clothes on his back. 16 North Vietnamese soldiers circle him now, their shadows flickering in the moonlight. They're closing in, bayonets fixed, whispers cutting through the night like razor wire. One wrong move, and he's done. Outnumbered 16-1. Disarmed. Trapped in a kill zone where a single grenade could end it all. But Harlan knows something they don't. He's not running, he's waiting. The valley around him is a graveyard of broken trees and fresh craters from earlier artillery. Bullets have torn through the underbrush like chainsaws, leaving bodies twisted in the vines. Harlan's platoon, 18 men strong when they dropped in at dawn, has been whittled down to ghosts, 12 dead already, confirmed by radio silence. The rest scattered or captured. He's the last one standing, or close to it. His heart pounds steady, not wild. He's been here before, but this is the edge. 16 shadows tightening the noose. 30 seconds, maybe less, before they rush him. The math doesn't lie. He can't fight them all, not like this. Yet in that suffocating dark, something shifts. Harlan grips the knife tighter. The confrontation isn't over. It's just beginning. To understand how a man like Jack Harlan ends up in that hell, you have to go back to a dusty farm in rural Ohio, 1945. Harlan was born there, third of 5 kids in a family that scraped by on corn and hogs. His father, a World War II vet from Normandy, came home with shrapnel in his leg and a quiet rage that filled the house. Jack learned early. Survival meant keeping your head down and your hands ready. At 16, he was plowing fields before dawn, fixing fences after dark. School was an afterthought. Math and history stuck, but the real lessons came from his old man. War don't care about fair, his father would say, nursing a beer on the porch. It cares about who moves first. By 1963, Jack was 20, drafted straight out of that same soil. Basic training at Fort Benning hit him like a freight train. Endless marches, live fire drills, the crack of rifles echoing off Georgia pines. He wasn't the loud one in the barracks, cracking jokes to kill the fear. No, Harlan was the guy who cleaned his weapon twice a day, memorized patrol routes in his sleep. His drill sergeant called him Stone, not for being cold, but for how he held steady when others cracked. First deployment to Vietnam came quick. 64, LZ X-ray, the big push into the Central Highlands. That's where the jungle first tried to swallow him whole. Harlan's unit, Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, 7th Cavalry, airlifted in under Huey rotors, chopping the mist. The landing zone was a football field of elephant grass, ringed by triple canopy forest that hid everything. They humped out at first light, boots sinking into red mud, rucksacks heavy with ammo and sea rations. Harlan walked point that day, eyes scanning for tripwires or punji stakes. 30 minutes in, the world exploded. AK-47 fire from the tree line, mortars thumping down like thunder. His squad hit the dirt, returning fire blind. Harlan rolled behind a termite mound, popping off rounds at muzzle flashes. One of his buddies, kid from Texas named Ruiz, took a round through the neck, gargling blood before going still. Harlan dragged him to cover anyway, applying pressure till the medic arrived. They held the line for 6 hours, calling in napalm that turned the trees to torches. By nightfall, 8 enemy dead, 3 of theirs gone. Harlan's hands shook after, but he reloaded without a word. That was just the start. Over the next months, he racked up patrols that blurred into nightmares. One night op, near the Ia Drang Valley, they stumbled into an NVA bunker complex. Harlan's fire team, 4 guys, pinned down by machine gun nests. Bullets zipped inches from his helmet, the air hot with cordite. He spotted a gap, a drainage ditch choked with vines. No time to wait for orders. He low-crawled 50 yards, mud caking his face, heart slamming against his ribs, emerged behind the main nest, tossed a frag grenade blind. The blast shredded the gunner. Harlan finished the loader with his carbine. His team broke through because of it. Lieutenant pinned a bronze star on him later, back at base camp. "You saved our asses, Sergeant," the LT said. Harlan just nodded. Medals didn't change the faces he saw at night. Another scrape came in July, ambushing a supply trail along the Ho Chi Minh. Harlan's platoon set up in the high grass, waiting for dawn convoys. They hit a big one, trucks loaded with ammo, guarded by sappers. The fight turned hand to hand when the vehicles bogged down. Harlan bayoneted one, took a knife slash across his forearm that needed 14 stitches. He kept swinging, dropping 2 more before the dust-off chopper pulled them out. Lost 5 men that day, but they captured enough rifles to arm a company. Back in the rear, Docs patched him up. But the scar stayed, a jagged reminder under his sleeve. Harlan didn't talk about it. He wrote letters home instead, short ones, "Weather's hot, staying busy." His mother sent photos of the farm, the fields greening up without him. By fall 65, Harlan was a seasoned hand, 26 years old, lean from the rations, eyes sharp from too many sunrises over hostile ground. He'd led fire teams through monsoons that turned paths to rivers, called in airstrikes that lit the sky orange. Decisions under fire. He'd made dozens. Like the time in the Bong Son Plains when a booby trap wiped out half his squad. Legs gone, screams cutting the air. Harlan took command, rallied the survivors and fought off a probe till reinforcements choppered in. Near death. Twice he'd felt the whoosh of bullets grazing his ear, once a sniper's round punching through his pack. Each time he came back swinging, not out of heroism, just because stopping wasn't an option. Now, back in that valley, October 23rd, the weight of it all presses down. The ambush earlier that evening started routine, a recon sweep through the elephant grass. Then the world flipped. Claymores ripped from the flanks, bodies flying. Harlan's rifle jammed on the 3rd burst. He ditched it when an NVA grabbed his strap. He melted into the brush, evading patrols by inches. Hours later, here he is. The 16 closing in don't know his story. They see an American alone, weaponless. Easy pickings, but Harlan's mind races clear. He counts their positions, 4 to the left, 6 front, the rest flanking right. The nearest one's 20 feet out, probing with his bayonet. Moonlight glints off the blade. Harlan's breath steadies. The knife in his boot feels like an old friend, 16 to 1. The odds scream impossible. But Harlan's reversed worse. The circle tightens. Time's up. The shadows move like ghosts in the mist. Harlan presses his back against the log, bark rough under his palms. The nearest NVA soldier steps forward, bayonet low and ready, his breath visible in the cool night air. 15 feet now. Harlan's eyes flick to the left, 2 more advancing through the ferns, their boots silent on the damp earth. He can smell the sweat on them, mixed with the sharp tang of gun oil. His own pulse is steady, a drumbeat in his ears. No panic, just calculation. He shifts his weight, silent as a shadow. The knife slides from his boot, handle warm in his grip. 6 inches of steel, honed that morning back at the fire base. It's not much against 16 rifles, but it's something. The soldier in front pauses, head tilting, listening. Harlan holds his breath. The valley is alive with small sounds, a drip of water from a leaf, the distant hoot of an owl, the faint rustle of uniforms. 20 seconds gone. The circle shrinks to 10 feet on all sides. Flashback hits like a mortar round, but Harlan pushes it down. Focus. This isn't his first noose. 3 weeks back in the same damn highlands, his patrol got cut off during a monsoon. Rain hammered down so hard, it drowned the radio static. They were 8 strong, humping a ridgeline when the NVA sprung from the rocks, 20 at least, pouring fire from elevated positions. Bullets chewed the trail, kicking up mud like geysers. Harlan's point man went down first. Chest opened up, screaming until he couldn't. The squad scattered, but Harlan grabbed the radio man's arm, yanked him behind a boulder. "Call it in," he barked, voice cutting through the roar. The kid's hands shook on the handset, water streaming down his face. "Fire mission grid 359er, danger close." Harlan covered him, popping shots from his M16 at the muzzle flashes above. One round grazed his shoulder, burning like fire, but he didn't flinch. The artillery came in hot, 105 screaming overhead, impacting 50 yards upslope. The ground shook, rocks tumbling past their position. Shrapnel whistled, and Harlan felt a piece slice his calf, warm blood soaking his boot. But the barrage broke the assault. NVA bodies rained down the hill, twisted and broken. His squad lost 3 that night, but they linked up with the company by dawn. Harlan stitched his leg himself, no complaints. "Kept moving," he told the LT later. That was Harlan. Wounds didn't stop him, they just marked the path. Now in the valley, the memory steals him. The lead soldier lunges, bayonet thrusting low for the gut. Harlan rolls left, log splintering under the blade. He comes up fast, knife slashing across the man's thigh. A grunt, blood spraying hot. The soldier stumbles, clutching the wound, but doesn't drop. Alerted, the others close in. Shouts in Vietnamese, sharp and urgent. Rifles swing up, but it's too tight for safe shots. Bayonets out. Harlan backs into a thicket, thorns tearing his sleeves. 5 feet to the next threat, a wiry one with a scar across his cheek. He feints right, draws the man in. The bayonet misses by inches, embedding in a vine. Harlan drives forward, knife plunging into the side of the neck. The body goes limp, heavy against him. He shoves it aside, rifle clattering to the ground. 1 down, 15 to go. But the others swarm now, a wall of green uniforms crashing through the brush. Footsteps pound, close and relentless. Harlan grabs the fallen rifle, empty but the bayonets fixed. He twists it free, dual blades in hand. The air fills with their cries, a chorus of rage. Adrenaline surges, but his mind stays clear. Like that op in the An Lao Valley 2 months prior. Charlie Company pushed a river crossing under fire, Huey's laying smoke ahead. Harlan's boat took a rocket, splintered wood, water rushing in. 2 men drowned before he could react, pulled under by the current. He swam for shore, dragging the gunner, bullets plucking the surface around them. Hit the bank, rolling, came up firing. The NVA were entrenched 50 yards out, bunkers spitting lead. Harlan spotted their water point, a jerry can set up behind the line. No time for orders. He low-crawled through the reeds, belly in the mud, ignoring the sting of leeches. 20 minutes to cover 40 yards. Tossed a white phosphorus grenade into the cache. Flames erupted, 30-foot tower of white fire. The enemy broke, panicked, running from the inferno. His company crossed clean after that, taking the position with minimal losses. Harlan's uniform melted patches from the heat, skin blistered, but he waved off the medic. Others needed more. That earned him a nod from the captain and a reputation, the guy who turned the tide when it looked lost. Back in the present, the fight turns brutal. A bayonet grazes his arm, same scar tissue from the trail fight ripping open. Pain flares, but Harlan uses it, spins into the attacker, knife gutting him quick. 2 down, the circle fractures now, NVA spreading to flank. 1 fires wild, bullet splintering a tree inches from Harlan's head. Bark stings his face. He charges the shooter, tackling low. They hit the ground hard, rolling in the mud. Fists and elbows fly. Harlan's knee drives into ribs, cracking bone. The man gasps, rifle slipping away. Harlan finishes with the bayonet, breath ragged. 3. But they're adapting. 3 pair off, advancing in tandem, cover and stab. Harlan retreats deeper into the vines. Heart pounding but controlled, sweat mixes with blood on his face. The valley echoes with their voices, coordinating. He counts. 12 left, position shifting. A grenade clinks nearby, pinned, rolling toward him. Time slows. He dives, grabs it midair, hurls it back into the group. Explosion rips the night, flash and thunder, screams cutting sharp. Bodies fly, dirt raining down. When the smoke clears, 4 more down or writhing, 8 to go. Harlan rises, bayonet dripping, chest heaving. The survivors hesitate, eyes wide in the moonlight. They see it now, not prey, but predator. He steps forward, stance low. The tension coils tighter, every shadow a threat. He's reversed the math, but the night's not done. 8 shadows circle, rifles trembling. Harlan grips his weapons. Come on. The remaining 8 NVA fan out, boots sinking into the soft earth of the valley floor. Moonlight filters through the canopy, casting long shadows that dance like warnings. Harlan stands his ground, bayonet in one hand, knife in the other. Blood trickles from his arm, warm and sticky, but he ignores it. The air smells of cordite and iron, gunpowder from the grenade, fresh from the wounds. Their rifles are up now, but the tight quarters make aiming risky. They know it. So do the bayonets stay fixed, glinting cold. One breaks first, a stocky one with a red bandana, charging straight on. He feints high, thrusts low. Harlan sidesteps, feels the whoosh of air past his ribs. He counters fast, knife slicing the man's forearm. The rifle drops. The soldier clutches his arm, eyes wide with shock. Harlan drives the bayonet home, twisting quick. The body slumps heavy in the ferns. 4 down total now, 7 left. But the others don't rush blind. They spread wider, 2 peeling off to the flanks, whispering tactics in low bursts. Harlan's breath comes even, controlled. This press reminds him of a patrol in the Songri Valley back in March. Charlie Company humped a narrow trail, flanks exposed to the hills. NVA scouts hit them at dusk, snipers from the ridges, picking off the point element one by one. Harlan was mid-pack, hauling the machine gun when the first crack sounded. His buddy ahead jerked, fell face first, blood pooling under his helmet, panic rippled back. The platoon dove for cover, but the trail was a kill funnel. Bullets chipped rock, whined off metal. Harlan dropped the gun, grabbed the squad leader's radio. "This is Harlan, taking point. Flank left, now." No waiting for confirmation. He bellied through the undergrowth, thorns raking his skin, covering 30 yards to a boulder outcrop. From there, he spotted the sniper nest, 2 shadows in a cave mouth, 200 yards upslope. Wind shifted, carrying their cigarette smoke. Harlan zeroed his scope, squeezed off 3 rounds. The first dropped the spotter, the second winged the shooter, who tumbled screaming down the slope. The third pinned the reinforcements scrambling up. His platoon broke out after that, linking with an Overwatch team that swept the ridge clean. They counted 12 enemy dead, including the snipers. Harlan's CO pulled him aside later at the landing zone. "You turned a rout into a win, Sergeant. Gut instinct." Harlan shrugged it off, cleaned his rifle while the dust-off medevaced the wounded. 3 of his own didn't make it, faces he'd shared smokes with, but stopping wasn't the play. Moving was. Back in the Ia Drang, the circle reforms. A pair advances from the left. Coordinated, one covering with his rifle leveled, the other stabbing range. Harlan backs toward a cluster of bamboo, stalks thick as wrists. The shooter fires, round snapping past his ear, splintering wood. He feels the heat, dives low. Rolls behind the stalks, comes up slashing at the bayonet man. The blade catches fabric, then flesh, hamstring severed. The soldier crumples, howling. Harlan yanks the rifle from his grasp, swings it like a club into the shooter's knee. Bone cracks. The man goes down, clutching his leg. Harlan stomps the rifle butt down, ending it. 5 down. 6 to go. Sweat stings his eyes, but he blinks it clear. The valley hums with tension, distant thunder rolling in from the mountains, masking their movements. The survivors circle tighter, faces set hard. One tosses a flare up, hissing red light blooming overhead. It hangs, painting everything in bloody glow. Harlan squints against it, shadows sharpening. No hiding now. They see his wounds, the blood-soaked fatigues. They think he's breaking. But Harlan shifts his grip, bayonets crossed like claws. He's reversed tides before. This won't be different. Memory surges again, unbidden. The brutal slog through the Play Me perimeter, September 65. His company defended a firebase under siege, NVA waves crashing the wire night after night. Harlan manned a 50 cal, blistering his hands on the grips. The first assault came at midnight, shadows boiling over the concertina. Tracers lit the dark, stitching lines through the mass. But they kept coming, 50, maybe more. Grenades arcing in. One landed short of his position, shrapnel peppering his vest. A fragment nicked his jaw, blood filling his mouth metallic. He didn't duck, swiveled the gun, hosed the breech. Barrels glowed cherry red, swapping them with gloved hands while rounds chewed the air. His loader took a hit, gut shot, spilling out before Harlan could turn. "Keep feeding!" Harlan growled to the replacement, a green kid from Philly. The gun jammed on the fifth belt, NVA breached 20 yards out. Harlan grabbed an M60 from the sandbags, sprayed full auto till it cooked off. Bodies piled at the wire, 10 deep in places. By dawn, the assault broke. Hundreds enemy dead, their lines shattered. Harlan's position held alone after the loader went down. Medics pulled 32 shards from his back later, but he walked to the aid station under his own steam. "Job's not done till the gun's cold," he told the doc. That night earned him a Silver Star citation, read out in formation. Harlan didn't cheer. He just reloaded. The flare sputters out, plunging the valley back to moonlight. The 6 close in pairs, bayonets probing. Harlan lunges first this time, targeting the weakest link, a smaller one hanging back. He closes the gap in 3 strides, knife flashing low. The man parries, but Harlan's stronger, drives elbow into his throat, crushing windpipe. The body drops gurgling. 5 left. The others react, one firing point blank. The bullet rips through his sleeve, grazing bicep. Pain blooms hot, but Harlan charges through it, tackling the shooter. They crash into the underbrush, vines snapping. He pins the arm, bayonet plunging down. 4. The last 4 hesitate, rifles trembling. Shouts echo, orders, fear mixing in. Harlan rises slow, chest heaving, blood dripping from multiple cuts. His vision tunnels focus razor sharp, like the river op, or the ridge fight, or the firebase stand. Each time the odds stacked high, each time he moved first. The circle wavers, but they recover. 2 faint left, 2 right. Harlan plants his feet. The night air thickens, every breath heavy. 4 shadows advance, steel ready. He's down weapons, but up will. The math shifts again. Come on. The 4 NVA soldiers spread out, boots crunching softly on the leaf litter. Moonlight catches their faces, sweat-slicked, eyes hard but flickering with doubt. Harlan stands in the center, bayonet loose in his right hand, knife gripped tight in his left. His left arm hangs heavy, blood soaking through the bandage he tore from his shirt minutes ago. The graze on his bicep throbs with each heartbeat, but he locks it down. Pain's just noise. The valley holds its breath, mist curling low around their ankles like smoke from a dying fire. The one on the left moves first, a lean guy with a fresh scar on his jaw from the grenade blast. He levels his rifle, finger on the trigger, but holds fire. Too close. Ricochet risk in the tight brush. Instead, he thrusts the bayonet forward, testing range. Harlan shifts left, blade whistling past his thigh by inches. He feels the air move, cold on his skin. No counter yet. Let them commit. To his right, another pairs up, stockier, bandana loose around his neck. They advance in sync, one high stab, one low sweep. Harlan drops to a knee, bayonet scraping dirt. The low thrust hits air. He rolls right, comes up inside the stocky one's guard. Knife drives up under the ribs. Quick twist. The man gasps, rifle clattering as he folds. Harlan yanks the blade free, warm blood spraying his wrist. 3 left. The downed man's eyes bulge, hands clutching the wound. But he goes still fast. Shouts erupt. Sharp Vietnamese commands cutting the night. The scar-faced one backs off, rifle up now, squeezing a burst. Bullets tear through vines overhead, leaves raining down like confetti. One round clips Harlan's helmet, metal pinging loud. He ducks, feels the sting of bark shards in his cheek. Adrenaline spikes, vision sharpening to edges. This is it, the swarm. The other two circle behind, footsteps splashing in a shallow puddle. Harlan spins, spots them, shadows merging with the trees, bayonets ready. Memory flashes, but he shoves it aside. No time. Focus on the now. The scar-faced soldier reloads, clip clicking home, 10 feet out. Harlan charges low, using the mist for cover. The man fires again, muzzle flash blinds for a split second. Bullets chew the ground behind Harlan, mud kicking up his calves. He closes the gap, tackles at the knees. They hit hard, rolling into thorns that rip fabric and flesh. The NVA fights dirty, elbow to Harlan's jaw, stars exploding in his head. Harlan tastes blood, his own, metallic on his tongue. He pins the arm with a knee, bayonet plunging down into the chest. The body arches, then slackens. 2 left. Harlan rises, gasping, ribs aching from the impact. The valley spins for a beat, sounds amplify. His ragged breath, the drip of blood from his face, the distant rumble of thunder. The remaining pair hesitates at the tree line, rifles trained but fingers frozen. They see the bodies now, 12 sprawled in the brush, dark pools spreading under moonlight. Fear creeps in their stance, shoulders tense. One breaks the standoff, a younger one, face pale, voice cracking as he yells. He tosses a grenade, arc lazy in the air. Harlan tracks it, time stretching, 5 seconds to impact. He dives left, grabs a fallen branch, hurls it like a spear. The grenade deflects mid-air, clinking off target into the ferns. Explosion rocks the ground, flashlights the night, dirt and shrapnel flying. The young one catches the edge, arm shredded, screaming as he drops. The last man stands exposed, rifle shaking. Harlan doesn't wait. He lunges through the smoke, knife first. The final NVA swings wild, bayonet glancing off Harlan's shoulder. Fresh cut, fire lancing down his arm. Harlan ignores it, closes in, fist to the throat, then bayonet to the gut. The man gurgles, slides down the tree trunk, eyes glazing over. Silence falls, broken only by the young one's whimpers, fading quick. Harlan staggers back, weapons dropping from numb hands. 16 bodies litter the clearing, twisted in death. His chest heaves, vision blurring at the edges. Blood loss hits now, legs weak, world tilting. He slumps against the log, knife retrieving from the mud with trembling fingers. The fight's over, reversed, but the cost sinks in slow. His platoon, gone. These 16, gone by his hand. The valley watches, indifferent, mist swallowing the scene. He fumbles for the radio on the dead radio man nearby, static, crackling to life. This is Harlan, Charlie Company, position secure, multiple hostiles down, need dust off now. Voice steady, but cracked at the end. Response comes faint. LZ X-ray acknowledging, choppers spooling up. Minutes stretch to hours in the wait. Harlan binds his wounds with strips from a corpse's shirt, pressure firm. Pain sharpens him, keeps the shock at bay. First light creeps in at 5:43 a.m., grey dawn filtering through the canopy. Hueys thump overhead, rotors chopping mist, ropes drop. Harlan clips on, lifted out as medics swarm below. The valley shrinks beneath him, craters, bodies, the log where it started. Back at the fire base, docs stitch him up, 27 wounds total, some deep. Blood transfusions, IVs dripping. Colonel Moore visits the tent, eyes appraising. Heard the radio traffic. 16, you say? Harlan nods, staring at the canvas wall. Confirmed, sir. Moore clasps his shoulder. Medals coming. You turned the tide out there. Harlan doesn't respond. Medals don't bring back the dead. Word spreads fast through the battalion. Pilots buzz about it over coffee. Grunts nod respect on patrols. Official report hits higher. One man disarmed reverses ambush. But Harlan knows the truth. No heroes, just survival. The scar on his arm joins the others, map of choices made in the dark. War doesn't end with the last body. It lingers in the quiet hours, when the adrenaline fades and the faces return. By noon, he's back on his feet, bandaged but moving. The company pushes out again, Ia Drang still hot. Harlan walks point, rifle reclaimed, eyes scanning the green. The reversal holds, for now. But the valley waits, always hungry. The rotors fade into the distance as Harlan touches down at the battalion aid station, boots hitting the red clay hard. Dust swirls around him, mixing with the metallic tang of blood on his fatigues. Medics swarm like ants on a carcass. Two grab his arms, guiding him to a cot under canvas flaps. The air inside the tent hangs heavy with antiseptic and sweat. Harlan sits without a word, letting them cut away the sleeves. Scissors snip fabric. Probes dig into wounds. 27 stitches later, his arms a patchwork of black thread and gauze. IV lines snake into his veins, saline cold against the fire in his muscles. He stares at the canvas wall, mind replaying the valley in flashes. The grenades roar. The last man's eyes, wide and empty. 16 bodies left behind, twisted in the mud like discarded rags. His platoon, 18 at dawn, now echoes on the radio. The weight settles slow, a stone in his gut. No victory march here. Just the hum of generators and distant artillery thumping the horizon. By midday, the colonel arrives. Moore, tall and weathered, steps through the flap with a clipboard in hand. His boots leave prints in the sawdust floor. "Sergeant Harlan," he says, voice even. Pulls up a stool, sits close. "Debrief me." Harlan meets his eyes, steady, no flinch. "Ambush hit at 1900 hours. Lost contact with the platoon. Evaded, circled back. Found 16 NVA closing the position. Took them out hand to hand." Moore nods, jotting notes. "Radio said multiple hostiles down. Confirmed?" Harlan's voice stays flat. "All 16, no survivors." The colonel pauses, pen stopping, looks up, appraising. "One man, disarmed. That's not just luck." Harlan shrugs, wincing at the pull on his shoulder. "Had to be done, sir." Word filters out fast. Grunts in the mess tent lean in over sea rations, voices low. Heard Harlan dropped 16 with a knife. Alone. Pilots on the tarmac slap his back when he walks by, Huey blades still spinning down. "Reverse the whole damn thing," one says, grinning through a mustache. Harlan nods, keeps moving. No stories from him. The details hit the after-action report by evening. Classified, but the brass takes note. LZ X-ray holds because of it. NVA push blunted, supply lines exposed. Reinforcements roll in at dusk, trucks grinding up the trail with fresh ammo crates. 2 days later, back at the firebase, the company forms up under a brutal sun. Heat shimmers off the helipad, air thick with diesel fumes. Captain pulls Harlan front and center, silver star pinned to his unwashed uniform. The metal catches light, cool against his chest. "For conspicuous gallantry," the citation reads aloud, words carrying over the ranks. Sergeant Harlan engaged superior forces, neutralizing 16 enemy combatants and securing the sector. Cheers ripple through the lines, fists pumping, boots stomping dirt. Harlan stands rigid, eyes on the tree line, feels the pin's weight, but it doesn't lift the load. Medals mark the act, not the ghosts. Nights come harder after. Harlan lies on his bunk, mosquito net draped like a shroud. The firebase quiets, crickets chirping, patrols rustling out. Sleep dodges him, faces surface. Ruiz from the first drop, neck torn open. The loader at play May, guts spilling in the wire. Now these 16, soldiers like him, far from home, fighting for dirt and orders. He rolls the knife in his hand, blade catching lantern light. Survival's a blade's edge. One slip and you're the body. Patrols resume by week's end. Harlan leads again, M16 slung easy, boots sinking into the same trails. Ia Drang Valley stretches endless, green walls hiding threats. No reversal erases the hunger. Bullets still fly, men still fall. He spots tripwires now before they snap, calls flanks tighter. The company moves surer, his story a quiet shield. But in the down moments, by the fire barrel, he shares smokes with the new kids. "Keep your head on a swivel," he says, voice low. Odds change when you move. Months grind on. Tet hits in 68, but Harlan's rotated stateside by then, scar tissue mapping his arms, eyes carrying the valley's shadow. Back in Ohio, the farm waits, fields yellow under summer sun. His father meets him at the gate, handshake firm, shrapnel legs stiff, no questions. They work side by side, ploughing rows till dusk. Letters from the battalion arrive sporadic, promotions, mentions in dispatches. The Silver Star sits in a drawer, untouched. Years later, in a VFW hall, thick with cigar smoke, old-timers gather. Harlan's grey now, hands steady on a beer. A vet from the 7th Cavalry spots him, slides over. Heard about Ia Drang, 16-1, hell of a stand. Harlan sips slow, nods. Just the job. No embellish. The story lives in whispers, a footnote in history books on the Valley campaign. Thousands dead on both sides, battles blending into the war's blur. War strips it bare. One man against the dark, choices made in the squeeze. Courage isn't the charge, it's the hold after. Harlan knows, the Valley taught him, and it never forgets.